Bonjour, welcome back to my channel. I'm DMC, I'm an artist based in Atlanta. I do anime, realism, and illustration. If you'd like to check some of my artwork, I'm gonna put down below the link on my social media in my portfolio. So I hope you guys are doing great today, and I hope you guys are accomplishing many things today as well. If you're working, I hope you're having a good day at work. If not, I hope you're having a good rest as well. Today I want to talk about, we can say, traditional and digital artwork, since I've been into digital for a while. So I just want to give a little of what I've learned from digital so far, as well as what I'm explaining in this video. I'm gonna put some of the drawings right here of one of the digital's artwork I've been doing. Of course, is Yu-Gi-Oh! Atem I'll be drawing, and which program I'm using, that will be Procreate. And then probably this time I'll remind myself to put which brushes I'll be using during doing the process of this drawing. So some of you know already, for a while I've been a traditional artist. I've been drawing over 25 years, I believe, and I can tell you that for me, traditional is my favorite. But since digital right now is very trending, you somehow have to jump in the trend. So I'm gonna give a little of my insight of what I've learned from digital, the pros and cons, as well as what is the pro and con of traditional artwork as well. Programs I use for drawing is gonna be Procreate, Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustration, as well as Premiere Pro for editing. So I'm pretty aware of what is going on with digital. The very first app I used was Adobe Photoshop, and then I did Adobe Illustration, and then the last one, which I'm currently using, is Procreate, because I use a lot of the tablet, which, to be honest, I am a very I'm a person that moves a lot, so I'm not a very stable in a table person. So here is the tablet. I think I already did a video a long time ago when I got this Wacom 16. I thought it was carry and portable everywhere, but unfortunately the bad thing about Wacom 16 is that it have to be connected or plugged to a computer. So that pretty much limit me to be moving around. So if I want to go downstairs to the living room, if I want to go to a cafe or something like that, I will have to bring everything with me. And that's the only bad thing about it. But to be honest, if you're a person that works in a desk and it's like everything that you just need is just being on a table, this actually works a lot, because to be honest, the precising not really, but how precise is the drawing with this tablet, it's really good. And I definitely recommend it if you're a person that sits on a table. So when I started using Wacom 16, I was using the Adobe Photoshop, and then from there I just started using the other programs. When I got this tablet, the Apple, that's when I installed the Procreate, to be honest. And to be honest, my favorite so far is Procreate. It's very easy to use. I think I already said it last 2 videos before, and I definitely recommend it, because Photoshop have a lot of stuff that might put you into kind of being confused, while Procreate is just straightforward. So here are the pros of digital artwork. First, you have all the colors, all the color wheel, you're available to use it. Compared to traditional, you have to buy the materials. For example, paint, color, coloring pencils, Copic markers. If you want to change from shade, you will have to get that marker, or you have to mix, find a way. If you're doing acrylic, you'll have to find the color or create the color for creating the acrylic tone you want to do. Or if you're doing oil, you already know the minerals, you have to mix it and everything. Compared to digital, you already have the wheel. It is very easy to just find the color. Nowadays, all digital kind of applications or program have the colors, which is amazing. So that's really good about digital art, that you can use it, as well as you can undo easily. Compared to traditional, it's not easy to undo. If you need to fix something, you'll have to redo most of it. Some of us that are traditional already know that if you're drawing on a pencil, you're trying to erase, you might even damage the paperwork, or you even have to try to fix that on a canvas. Compared to digital, you can just undo, you can fix it, you can erase. There have the little erase button or kind of erase icon. You can just edit the drawing. So it's very forgiving with digital. You can also create layers, which is amazing whenever you want to just fix or edit or color on top of another like kind of layer, but you don't want to touch the back layer. You just can create another layer, kind of giving more space of you without messing some of the drawing. Compared to art, you just work, traditional, you just work on one canvas, you just work on one surface, and it's like you can just, for example, you're just creating the character, and then at the end you're like, you know what, I'm gonna do the background. How are you going to create the background? You kind of have to figure out without damaging the drawing you already did. Compared to digital, you can just create a layer, back layer, create the background, and then just do a lot of editing without touching one of the layers that it's the character you already created. Also, some of the programs like Procreate, they give you a variety of brushes on the icon. When it shows brushes, you can select which one you want. You can do fine line, you can do kind of airbrush, or kind of like soft touch, or even just one of like mixing colors. Compared to traditional, that's you have to buy the brushes, you have to buy the pans, which one you want to do for fine lines. If you want to do creating a thicker line, you have to use certain pans or markers that can do that. Just like Copic markers have a fine line, and then they have the brush line, so the brush stroke. So it's a lot of difference in there. Compared to digital, they have that, and that's a really great, so you don't have to spend money on buying brushes. There's of course an updated kind of application that you can buy brushes from artists, that they create brushes, so that's an additional cost. That's up to you. Compared to traditional, that you have to buy the brushes or buy the watercolors or certain brushes to create fine lines. Also, you can change the tone of how opaque you want your drawing to be. For example, you did a real quick sketch on the tablet, you did a real quick sketch of the drawing, and then you put it on very low opaque kind of tone, and then you could do another layer and then draw on top of it and create a better clean version. Which I know on traditional there's like the light boxes that you just draw a real quick sketch and then you put the drawing on it and you can just trace it. I don't consider it traces because you're actually just drawing your own kind of tracing it, but kind of your own drawing, kind of make it clean. But on digital, you can just do it by creating another layer, putting the layer below, lowering the opacity, I think how opaque you want your drawing to be, and then just trace it back but to be cleaner version of your artwork, which is very forgiving. It's everything on a tablet, not creating mess. Just like, you don't have to do a lot of things compared to traditional. You have to turn on the light box and just redraw everything. Compared to digital, is very forgiving. The other thing is the mess. Honestly, this is the biggest thing. Like for me, I'm a person that I walk a lot, go a lot of like places. I'm not a desk person. I like to carry the tablet or whatever I use. For example, before it was the sketchbook, so I will always carry my little pouch everywhere. I will just have it everywhere with me, and I will carry like my book bag. When I used to go to work, I'll have like tons of like 3 sketchbooks just in case. I don't know, I wanted to have like on my break just draw something. But the book bag was always heavy because I will carry color, markers, pen, blah blah blah. Compared to traditional, you have everything in one like place, and it's the tablet. So that is the very big difference for me, and I really like that because I don't have to carry like a heavy book bag everywhere I go. And it's, for example, if I go to the cafe, I don't have to get everything out. I just have to have my tablet charged, and that should be okay. So definitely the mess, and if you're doing a painting and all that, is not going to be like cleaning after it. You don't have to clean the brush, you don't have to clean the area behind you, what you're doing, replace everything, put everything back. It's just, save, clean, and just save your file, and that's it. Compared to traditional. Okay, for me, one of the major thing is that you can zoom in the artwork. For me, that I wear glasses. Traditional, when I'm doing traditional or I'm inking Master Mika or any artwork that is very detailed, I have to get very close to the artwork, and it actually can damage your eyes of how much you're forcing your eyesight compared to digital. You're just zooming in and zooming out, which helps a lot with small little details, and especially if you're trying to do the drawing very precise. So that's one of the big changes for me, and I really love about digital, that you can zoom in and zoom out, and that helps a lot with your artwork. Okay, the cons for digital artwork. So the cons for digital artwork is that you have to invest in the apps. Of course, for me, that I'm using Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Illustration and Premiere Pro and all that kind of stuff, I have to pay monthly a subscription to use these apps. There's some apps like Procreate that they're a little cheaper than the actual subscriptions that I have. And the only thing is that, of course, you have to invest in equipment, and for example, a tablet, and it's not very cheap compared to traditional. You can just get a sketchbook, a pen, and you can just draw, which is not expensive. A sketchbook can be range from $5, $9, a small sketchbook, to depending of which material you want to do. If you want to do mixed media, of course, that's going to be a little more expensive because of how heavy and the grams of paper needs to be to hold the ink that you're going to be, or the media you'll be using. And for pen and all that, of course, there is the expensive ones. For example, Copics are like almost like $7 or $6 a piece. Or you can just get and start with, big pen, pencil. So that's the difference between price range. And I know there is also like out there for traditional is very expensive. There are like the oils and all that. The canvases, of course, there is some sales that if you go to some art supply stores, they're doing like specials for canvas, like $10 for 2 or 3 canvases. Obviously, this is like different kind of sales, but it's not the best brand for canvases. But what matters is if you want to start drawing, you can start with very little amount of money, not really like a tablet of like $700 or like 8, 9, 10, like depending of how much you're using it as a career, or if you want to start off, you can start off with traditional to start off with. That's my perspective. So obviously from my perspective, traditional is a very easy way to start off. And if you want to start off with digital, obviously there is a ranges of tablet you can get, and also the apps, which Procreate is one of the best ones out there if you want to start with digital. So one of the problems as well for digital is storage and how much you're getting, how big are the pieces, and how much they're taking on memory of your computer, or if it's taking how much memory on the tablet as well. Compared to traditional art where you can just do it or just work on canvases, and you can just have them there, store them really nice. And sometimes you have to invest on digital to create more memory, or have an external hard drive, or if you're doing a tablet, just make sure you have enough space or to keep your artwork in there safe. And also the other thing is, unfortunately, for digital, sometimes you might delete like by accident some pieces you have been working. For example, if you guys know, last year I was working on this digital playmat that was from Yu-Gi-Oh, and it was the Drytrons, and I think I said it was something happened with the system. I think I unfortunately oversaved it, and I think it was running an update. And what happened is that since it was running an update, I did something unfortunately, and instead of like exiting it or without saving it, it automatically auto-save itself, or kind of like I saved an exit. So when I came back to see my art piece, it was a mess. It was it was missing so many layers, so I had to redo the program. So that's the con about digital artwork compared to traditional. That's not gonna happen unless you just toss it and you just throw away the artwork, not just like digital that you might delete in a file. Why do I like traditional more than digital? Because for me, traditional is it's a piece, it's a unique piece. It's just the only one you have created. You create this kind of emotion or kind of like personal thing with the canvas or artwork compared to digital. You can create copies and it's easily, unless you watermark it. There is also ways people just can erase that. I've seen like people that even put their name below, they erase it, they do a lot of things, and somehow they can steal your artwork. Compared to traditional, it's not easy to get your artwork stolen. So that's the very heavy con of digital, is easily can get stolen on the social media or in the internet. Compared to traditional, it doesn't. And my thing is that I love the colors, I love markers, I love to sketch and all that, and I do too with the digital. But traditional, it gives more of a not realistic, but kind of like more of an intimacy with your artwork. So yeah, that's the reason why I love traditional a little more than digital. So ending this video, I just gonna do a little, put everything together. I love traditional, I love digital, but for me, traditional is my favorite top, and I'm still learning. Digital, it's amazing. It gives you space to learn a lot about the system and what it's out there, to be honest. And we all have different opinions. You guys might like more digital. Some of you might like more traditional. For me, traditional gives a very nice feeling to the artwork, and it's original. Digital also have originals, but I kind of give my opinion of why I love traditional. And yeah, so I just want to say thank you very much for your support, and I hope you guys like this video. Give it a thumbs up, and if you have any questions, and if you like to give me your perspective, what do you like better, digital or traditional, just put a comment down below and I'll be answering you guys' questions or comments. Okay, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Au revoir, à la prochaine.